how do you lane against Badang? You see, he's really a strong hero and look at how he easily dominates my team. In fact, he's picked more often than Mincy even in the pro scene. This just shows how much of a threat and scary he really is. And look at him, he starts bragging and throwing emotes on my team. But for those who of you don't know me yet, I'm Checkmate, and I break down smart strategies to help you humble players like this in solo ranked games. Now here's our lineup, and if you notice, the enemy team drafted really smart. They picked heroes that are tough to deal with, especially if you haven't fully mastered Mincy yet. Trust me, if you're not prepared, you'll definitely struggle against this kind of matchup. And since a lot of you have been requesting that I show the entire game, don't worry, I'll try to minimize the cuts as much as possible so you can see the full picture of how I rotate, how I respond to pressure, and how I make decisions in the game. Alright, so during the laning stage, especially at level 1, you can actually challenge Badang in a duel. Mincy's passive gives you decent poke and sustain, which lets you trade early. But here's the key, never position yourself near walls, or you'll get stunned. And even if you're confident in the 1v1, don't focus alone on the duel. Always consider the possibility that his teammates might back him up. So instead of locking in on Badang, stay aware of the bigger picture. Keep checking the minimap and track enemy positions. Awareness is what keeps you alive. And as you can see, the moment Badang is about to hit level 2, I start keeping my distance. That's because once he unlocks his second skill, he can easily poke or burst you down if you're too close. So at this stage, it's better to play it safe. Also, don't position yourself in obvious spots. In this clip, Badang thought I was here and ended up missing his entire combo. Since he wasted his skills, you capitalize on his mistake and start poking him safely. Now that he's down to half HP, don't be afraid of his combo. You can start trading aggressively and apply pressure. But remember what I said earlier, always stay vigilant. Once the enemy team sees you winning the lane, they'll most likely rotate to help Badang. So while you're trading, keep an eye on the minimap and be ready to back off. See, their roamer has already rotated to my lane, but I still force the play because I know our jungler is nearby. The goal here is to poke the enemies just enough to help our jungler secure the takedown. However, I also took a lot of poke damage in the process, so it would have been too risky to fully commit and back up lane. Instead, I stayed calm, timed my skills properly, and waited for the perfect moment to re-engage. But then Beleric used his vengeance, so I made the smart choice not to engage. Instead, I hid in the bush and waited for my minions. Now watch closely, Beleric still tries to dive me, but I'm not worried. At any moment, I can hook him straight into the tower and turn the fight in my favor. But I'm still keeping my eye on Badang. He's already at half HP, and with one good hook, I can potentially take him down. But this isn't your average player. Look at how he moves, constantly shifting up and down while farming his minions. That's smart play right there. Meanwhile, the pressure on our jungler isn't over. Beleric keep poking Ling, and if you check the minimap, you'll see Beleric actively disrupting him, even delaying his recall. That's actually an impressive play from Beleric, applying pressure both on me and our jungler. And this is where I want to highlight the importance of not showing yourself on the map. Master the art of playing in the shadows. You see, Badang assumes I've already recalled back to base because I'm low on HP, but what he doesn't realize is that I'm still right here, quietly hiding in the bush, gaining up XP near my minions and patiently waiting to hit level 4. And this is where you caught him by surprise and pull off the hook plus ultimate into the tower combo. And there's absolutely no way he can escape this because King's Calling disables his flicker and second skill. Now the turtle has spawned near our lane, so you'll notice I'm still playing it safe, even though my lane opponent has already been taken down. That's because there's always a chance the enemy jungler might try to gank. I only start clearing the minions once I spot their jungler rotating toward their purple buff. Always wait for the right moment. Then go back to the playstyle I taught you, the shadow play. It's not always about last-hitting minions. What matters more is staying hidden and unpredictable. But I made a bit of a blunder here. I aimed my ultimate toward the wall, which is why Badang didn't get dragged into the tower. A small miscalculation that cost me the chance to secure the takedown. Now watch what happens here. Badang starts throwing emotes while I miss a few hooks. But I stay disciplined. I position myself safely under the tower and keep my distance. Then once my next wave comes in, I return to the shadows, back into the bush, staying just close enough to my minion wave to still gain XP without showing myself. This is a key habit you need to develop when playing Mincy. He's not a hero that thrives on constant aggression early on. He shines when you play smart and patient. Mincy is all about timing, positioning, and catching your enemy off guard. And that's why the bush is one of your most powerful tools. Use it not just for surprise hooks, but also to create off-map pressure. When the enemy doesn't know where you are, they're forced to play safer, second-guess their moves, and delay their rotations. That's already a win before you even press a skill. Now in this moment, Badang finally spots my position. That's when I immediately reposition, fall back under my tower, and reset the distance. You might think I'm playing too passive here, but trust me, this is how Mincy should be played in the early. What you're seeing is discipline, not fear. Watch until the end of this video, and you'll see exactly how Mincy is really scary, and how he can take down Badang easily. Now Badang is doing double lane, so we clear the minions immediately while we constantly monitor him in the minimap. Now our main goal here is to deny Badang the XP from his lane. That's why you'll see me anticipating his movement, position myself and aimed my hook on this spot. But this Badang isn't just any player, he's smart. Instead of taking the obvious route, he goes around from behind and catches me off guard. Now we're in an open space and he lands his combo easily on me. But here's the thing though, my corrosion scythe is now ready at this point. So we managed to pull off this move. This is actually one of the reasons why corrosion scythe is such a solid first core item, because you gain rapid attack speed stats when you maintain and reach its full stacks. And by the way, if you noticed, I didn't bother contesting the objective with my team. That's because I knew Ling was already behind in levels, and the chances of us securing the turtle were pretty low. So instead of risking it, I focused on creating pressure and impact here in the bottom lane. Unfortunately, they still went for the play and ended up getting wiped out. But to be fair, it was a decent attempt. They almost made it out and even managed to take down Beleric in the process, so it wasn't a total loss. Also, one thing I really appreciate about my random teammates in this match is that they're not toxic toxic at all. Every time someone makes a mistake, you'll see them saying sorry in the chat, which is rare in solo queue. That kind of attitude really helps build team morale. And this is actually the point where we start to develop some synergy. I began communicating with them more as the game went on, and you'll see how that teamwork slowly starts to pay off. Then I recalled, and you'll see me here doing the fake entry. This is exactly how you should approach bushes. Don't just walk in blindly. Step in, then quickly step out. If someone's hiding there, they'll often panic and use a skill thinking they caught you. At this point, I honestly had no idea where Badang was positioned, which can be dangerous. So this is where you use your hook not just as an engage tool, but as a scouting tool. And with that, we spotted Badang, but I wasn't able to pull off the hook plus ultimate combo into the tower. That hook was more of a wild guess than a setup, and if you want that combo to land successfully, you need to be ready to follow up instantly with your ultimate, which I wasn't even thinking of doing it. Now, if you ever find yourself in this kind of situation, no ultimate, no flicker, don't force a defense. It's better to give up the tower than to give away a free takedown, especially when you're facing heroes like Fredrin, who's a crowd control machine. Even if Badang doesn't have his ultimate, they can still lock you down and take you out easily. So I made the smart choice here to back off and wait safely by my second tower for the next minion wave. I didn't even get close to the minions at first, because I was thinking, there's still a chance Badang and Fredrin are lurking nearby. Fortunately, Ling checked the area for me, and once he confirmed it was clear, that's when I moved in to safely clear the wave. Then I rotated to help defend the mid lane, because this is one of the best ways to prolong the game and take it to the late game. Mid lane is crucial since it gives access to both sides of the map and helps protect our jungle camps. As long as the mid tower stands, our jungler still has a safe space to farm and recover. Now we're entering the mid game, and this is where decision making becomes even more important. At this point, you'll often face a choice. Do you help your jungler secure objectives, or do you assist your gold laner in taking down their lane opponent? Looking at the situation here, Ling is still behind in levels, which means contesting objectives would be too risky. So instead, I made the smarter call and rotated to help our gold laner gain control of his lane. Minsitthar has a high success rate when it comes to locking down enemies, so rotating to the gold lane is definitely the smart move here. Especially when you look at the matchup, Beatrix is already a level ahead of our gold laner, and if we don't do something, she'll snowball even harder. But remember this, don't farm the minion waves. Let your gold laner have them so they can catch up. Instead, you can farm from the crab or any nearby jungle resources. And as you can see, even while I'm farming, I make sure to do it discreetly, staying hidden and not showing myself on the map. This off-map presence creates uncertainty for the enemy, and that's exactly why Beleric ends up walking into the wrong path. Now take a look at the map, for enemies are showing in the mid and bottom lanes. That only means one thing, Beatrix is most likely the one left to defend the top lane alone. So I immediately position myself in the bush and prepare an ambush. It's all about reading the map and setting up the right play before the enemy even knows what's coming. Now here's where you need to start thinking one step ahead. I knew Badang would rotate to the top lane, so instead of staying there, I immediately recalled and shifted my focus to the bottom lane. Because the Lord is about to spawn in the top lane, which means bottom is the ideal lane to pressure. But then I spotted Beleric coming in, so I tried to recall, but it was already too late. They had me surrounded. Still, I had my full kit ready, so I played it smart. I acted like a helpless target trying to escape, but what they doesn't know is I was slowly closing the distance so I can reach Beatrix. This was a perfect example of why you should never let your enemy know your next move. I even managed to pull Kagura in, but I got taunted just in time, and she flickered out and unleashed her full combo on me. Yes, we got taken down, and I could sense my teammates starting to lose hope, so I sent a quick message to encourage them to keep going. The moment I respawned, I headed back to the bottom lane. This time, Badang showed up, and he was overly confident, but my team played it smart. Even our gold laner stayed hidden, only revealing himself when Badang shows up and took the bait. We successfully took down Badang, and the enemy team was occupied at the top side of the map, trying to secure the Lord, while we were down in the bottom lane, trying to make the most out of the situation, giving up one side to take something on the other. So we accept and give the Lord to the enemies. But something happened that none of us saw coming. Out of nowhere, our Ling, who was 2 levels behind, manages to secure the Lord. You see, Fredrin was already level 14, and Ling was only level 12. That's a huge gap in power and retribution damage. And yet Ling pulled off the impossible. Right after that, I immediately rotated to the top lane. And if you pay close attention, you'll notice, I still use the same technique, the fake entry. And now look at how easily Minsitthar take down Badang, even when he's standing right under his own tower. Earlier in the game, Badang was constantly throwing emotes at our team. But now, it's time to make him regret every bit of it. You see, Minsitthar might not look intimidating at first glance, but in the right hands and with the right setup, he can become an absolute nightmare to any EXP laner. You'll see in the next clips how we completely shut him down, turning him into nothing more than paper. And here's something important to take note of, never be afraid of tanky heroes like Fredrin, especially in the late game. You see, Minsitthar may be known for control and utility, but he's also fully capable of bursting even the tankiest frontliners when fully built. His kit scales surprisingly well into the late game, and with the right timing, even a Fredrin can get melted before he gets a proper chance to sustain. Now here's a bonus tip, use this jungle lizard as bait. But here's the key, don't just stand anywhere, or this plan will not work. You need to position yourself here, not in this area. Because if the lizard takes damage, it will automatically walk toward the closest target, so if you're standing too close, the lizard will run toward you, and that can reveal your position and ruin your whole setup. At this point, Minsitthar is showing why Badang should have never messed with the king. He can't even press his combo. He tries to run, but no one's stopping the king. And if you look at the map, the Lord is spawning on the bottom side. So I cleared the bottom minion wave just enough to keep it pushing, then quickly rotated to the top lane to apply pressure. This way, we split the enemy's focus and create space before the Lord fight. And of course, now that we've entered the late game, it's time to fully make use of the king's trap. We don't rush in, we play it smart. We let the minions go first and allow Badang to take the bait. And And just look at him, completely helpless. This is the reward for playing patiently during the early game. And now, the roles have reversed. The once aggressive Badang is the one being hunted, and Minsitthar, the king, is the one doing the hunting. Just look at how Fredrin, their jungler, is forced to react to the pressure in the top lane instead of setting up near the Lord area. That's exactly the kind of map pressure we want to create. I immediately signaled my team to take the Lord while I stayed in the top lane, continuing to apply pressure. Because I didn't have my ultimate available at the time. So rather than risking a team fight with limited tools, I made the smarter move. Split push and force a response. And in return, we get map control, Lord security, and tower pressure, all at once. Ling unfortunately got taken down, so I immediately grabbed the opportunity to rotate and destroy the bottom tower. I had to use my ultimate defensively just to escape, but that's where things got interesting. The enemy thought they had the advantage. We were already one man down, and I had no ultimate, so they overcommit, thinking it was their chance to wipe us out. But here's the twist, my teammates turned the tables. They played it smart, baited the enemy in, and made a huge outplay. So I quickly rejoined the clash to back up my teammates, and that's when the enemies realized their mistake. They thought they had the upper hand, but it was already too late. Their positioning was off, their skills were burned, and now they were the ones being hunted down one by one. Then I made sure to communicate clearly with my teammates. I told them to wait, because my ultimate was still on cooldown. In moments like this, communication is everything. I didn't want them to back off or hesitate. I needed them to stay close, because I was planning to set up a play. And if you look closely, you'll see Badang is about to respawn in just a few seconds. If we time this right, we can catch him again and turn the game in our favor. And look, just as planned, we managed to take him down right on time. And just look at how instantly they vanished. Then, without wasting any momentum, we immediately pulled off another king's trap. This time, we aimed to lock in Beatrix and she did somehow manage to survive with the wind of nature. But we dive in prepared and got ourselves winter crown.